everyone. Welcome to 11 London Kurdish Film Festival. Day 5, and we showed you 5 great films under the theme of children in film. Today, I have a guest to talk about his film, his experience, his thoughts. The film called The Mandarin Tree, the first film that we screened today, and the director's name is Cengiz Akaygün, who's going to be with us. Hello, Cengiz.
Hello, Ferhan.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for being with us. Cengiz, could you introduce yourself a little bit? Our audience may want to know who are we talking to?
Okay. My name is Cengiz Akaygün. I am a Kurdish director from Germany, and I am the director of The Mandarin Tree. So, yeah, The Mandarin Tree is my third short film, and it was at several festivals, international festivals, and so on. And now it's in London, and I'm happy about that. Thank you that you chose my film.
Thank you, Cengiz. Your film was really touching and quite powerful. That is, talking about the parents who've been in the prison and the kid's dream and their communication with her father. Before I ask my first question, I want to probably give a little bit background about the current situation, about the kids that is experiencing the same issue. According to Human Rights Association in Turkey, there are 780 children that remains in the prison. So either their father or mother have been in prison, and those kids have to go to prison to remain with them during their imprisonment. And in general, to just inform our audience, in general, there are about 370 prisons in Turkey and 282,703 prisoners, and among them there are about 68,000 political prisoners in Turkey. And as you know, co-chair of HDP party, Selahattin Demirtas, is one of them, including many Kurdish MPs, and mayors, and activists also in prison. So this is quite an important topic that we want to discuss as well and get a bit more overview. Cengiz, probably my first question will be to you is, how did you come up with this topic? Why did you choose this story?
Okay. First of all, I mean, I grew up in Turkey also since I was 8 years old. I came to Germany, and the political themes was ever actual in my life because of my environment, because of my family, because of the political situation in Turkey, and so on. Mm-hmm. And so as a child, I had a lot of impressions in Turkey also, what I don't understand, and I understood it later. And so then you realize that when you're old, and you think about that. And so the view of the child is another view to the world. It's a more naive view, but that means not... it's childs are also intelligence. So yeah. This intelligence would be work more and more when you are old. Then you think about that, you analyze that, you understood everything more. And the situation why I made this film was I read a story, a tale folk tale, a South American folk tale. And it was about a child a girl, she visits her father in prison. And that inspires me to make this film. And so that's why I made this film. And the tale, tell a story about father in prison and a daughter who draws a picture for her father, and the guardian confiscates this picture. So that was the main story. So, but it was not cinematically. But this part of the story inspires me to make something, a theme with my country, where I came from. And because these themes are universal themes, so freedom, thoughts of freedom, and so on and so on, you can tell about freedom of thoughts in a prison, and a Kurdish guy can watch this film and he can understand it. Also, like a China guy, or a Kurdish or a European. So, and I don't know. Was that the question, or
Yes,
my
yes.
inspiration?
Thank you. Thanks for giving us the overview about how to get to this, how to find this story. It is important to understand for us to, that how directors actually choosing their films. And with this way, we want to also, connect to young filmmakers to just inspire them also how they choose their story, because every director have their own specific reason, and they have their own social background that links them to this story. That was useful, Cengiz. Also, I realized that I think you are from Dersim, north of Kurdistan, and you speak Kurmanchki, I think Zazaki, which was the spoken language in the film. Is that why you choose? The reason you choose this spoken language, because this is where you're from?
Yes, because I'm from Dersim also.
And
I tell you before that I grew up till I was 8 years old in Dersim, and I learned this language with listen. I listened how my parents talk the language, and it was forbidden to talk this language in the school. So our parents say to us, okay, you can't or you should not speak the language, and because the teachers, they hit you in the school, and that's why my Kurdish today is not so good, but I understand it perfectly. And that's the same thing in the film when Shirin, this girl, she when the father talked to Shirin, then he talks in Turkish, and when he talks with his wife, then they talk in Kurdish.
I was going to ask that. Why? What was your concept? What was your ideas behind it? Did you choose that concept specifically?
Yeah, because it's a secret language. So between father and mother, and they that's why they are so surprised when Shirin understood that what they talked about, and that was the moment why they so surprised, because they talked about the scarf and so on, and Shirin comments this conversation about the scarf, and that was the surprising moment for the parents. So that shows the intelligence of a little child. So sometimes we
we don't notice that how clever they are.
Really,
the kids are very clever. My next question to you, Cengiz. So you make this film in Germany, but the film looks like it's taking place in Turkish prison. Did you shoot the film in Turkey or in Germany?
No, I shot the film in Germany because it's difficult to make a film when you have when you get a foundation in Germany to make this in Turkey, because also the budget, it's not enough to make it in Turkey, and so that's why we shot it in Germany.
Yeah, well, it looked quite real. The prison looked like one of the Turkish prison, and the guards looked like the proper Turkish guards. So I was really curious about that as well. Thank you, Cengiz. When you were making this film, did you come across any challenges? How was the experience of making this film, in terms of the process? Can you help us to understand about the process?
Yes. I mean, the challenges, the biggest challenge is the point you asked me before, the prison, because I had to replace the original place to Europe, so to another place, and to tell the story to tell the story authentically, to show a prison looks like a Turkish prison. I mean, you have sometimes prisons in Germany. I think they look like prisons in Turkey, or the otherwise, and but you have also in Turkey prisons which looks like prisons in Germany, or prisons like third world prisons, like in Africa, or I don't know. And to find the middle way to have this authentic look was the first challenge. To for example, also the uniforms. I sent a friend of me with the plane to Turkey to bring the uniforms from Istanbul.
Okay.
Because we had no time, and we should have these uniforms. Yeah. And the uniforms what we have here, they was not so authentically and so on. And for me, was very important that it looks like that. That was for me the minimum thing we should be. So, and yeah, that is the first thing I remember that was a challenge for me. And I mean, it's ever a challenge when you make a low budget film, because you have to look that you make it so real, authentic, that you have good a good cast and so on, and crew and so on. And yeah, I think it's ever a challenge to make and the filmmakers know that. And
that's what I was gonna, in that point. What would you recommend? Because this is your third film. I understand you have a bit more experience in filmmaking. What would you recommend to young filmmakers when they first start thinking about planning their film? What would be your recommendations?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a lot of things, but I think you have don't be afraid. That's the first one. And believe in the story you want to make. You should believe in that. That you want to see this film on the screen, and that you like your story. You should like your story. And then I mean, I myself, I spring in the cold water, because I was not in a normal film school or like that, and so on. And I learned to making film myself. So, and that is the hardest way, I think. But when you believe in your story and when you believe in yourself, then you should spring in the cold water. And when you come out, you should, think about if you want to spring again or not. So or stay in the water or go out.
Okay.
Because then you understand you can do it or not. I think you should spring in the water.
Yeah, I think I can see that you like to use quite a lot of metaphors in your thinking, Cengiz, and I quite like the idea of the girl is trying to get the bird inside of the prison, and in some way, in some point, the father holds his hands and let the birds eat the seeds. I think. What would you say about this metaphor? What is your thinking behind this concept?
First of all, for me it was the bond of between father and daughter, and plus the imagination of the father and the daughter. So, and there is a bond, and this bond is the final thing in the film, that he understood what Shirin, her daughter, wants to say him with this picture and with these what is it in English? He has in his hand
seeds.
Seeds, yeah.
Seeds, yeah.
And
that was mandarin seeds, right, Cengiz? Mandarin seeds.
No. The sunflowers, sunflowers.
Sunflowers.
Sunflowers. Yeah, and that that is the thing that he understood. She gives him something in the hand, so because she trusts in the imagination of her father. She knows that he can solve it.
And then she says that we keep our dreams and imaginations. We can keep our dreams and imaginations in our head, so we can maintain it. There's one question, and Cengiz, from our audience. I think we can also link to what we discussed. The question from Kona Lozes, asking about Shirin learns how to stay proud and unbroken. Is this the message that you are giving to Kurdish young people in Bakur? Kurdish people who live in north of Kurdistan in Turkey. Is that the message that you are giving to them? Staying proud and unbroken.
Unbroken. Okay.
Unbroken.
I don't know if that is the message, but you should not broke. I think it's also right. You should not broke, and but don't give up, and there is something what is bigger than that one that oppressed you physically, and that is your that your consciousness, your encourage, your personality and your identity and so on, and that is bigger than the oppression. And I think that is also right.
I think that's a great message, Cengiz, because also I want to say that if you I don't know if you were able to watch the films that we had today, including yourself, that has a great metaphor is used, despite of all problems and conflicts and the issues, social issues and political issues, maybe living in poor conditions, in Kurdistan, child can manage to remain happy and can reach their dream in one way or another. for example, in the film that we showed today, Song of Hands, the kids, you know, create an instrument to play with and learn how to play and sing his song. And in the Summer of Swans, the disabled child, you know, managed to go and find the bird, you know, find the just be with his friends. And in Mountain, we saw a callboy kid who was carrying all the heavy stuff on his shoulder.
Mhm.
Who managed to laugh, you know, managed to smile and be happy. So, I mean, this is also one of the themes that we have in this festival, in this edition, that we want to show, despite all the facts, you know, we find a way to stay hopeful and happy. There's one question as well, Cengiz, is question also comment. It says, one of our audience, it is a great movie. What are the potential future projects that you are planning?
Now we're planning, and it's in progress, a future film, and it's also a film for childs.
Okay.
And it's
You are focusing on the
false-
child, making films on the children.
Oh no, normally not. It was an accident.
Well, it's a nice accident, Cengiz.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for choosing this topic.
Yeah, thank you.
We need more films about children. So yeah, you were talking about your future projects. I think, what was it called again?
5 Stones. So the film,
Stones.
yeah,
Okay.
called 5 Stones. And so at the moment we are in the writing process, and so it's a long term of process, you know, to make a future in Germany, because the first term is to writing that, and then you have to pre-produce, and then you have to find the money, the foundations, but we work at the moment with producers, and we think positive. So we want to think positive, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Our time is up, Cengiz. I would like to, well, thank you for answering all these questions and sharing your views with us. Do you have any final thoughts? By the way, can I ask, if you finish that feature film, are you going to send it to us? Are you going to send it to London Kurdish Film Festival?
Yeah, for sure.
Good to hear that.
I mean,
So,
I think, yeah.
So we can have your final thoughts, Cengiz.
My final thought, yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you, Kurdish London Film Festival. I think it's a very important festival for Kurdish people, and we should support the festival and the cinema, and also the Kurdish community should support you, and you should support us, the filmmaker, and
there's mutual benefit.
Yeah, it's very important that Kurdish Film Festival exists. It's important for us, and yeah, that's very important. And
Thank you,
yeah,
Cengiz.
I think that's my final speech.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us and sharing your views. Our dear audience and all the people who are watching us, thank you for being with us and supporting London Kurdish Film Festival. Please continue to stay tuned, share our events, share our links, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tomorrow is day 6. Thursday, 20th August, Thursday, day 6, and we have great 5 films under the Once Upon a Time in Kurdistan. So there will be a lot of interesting stories, interesting social, cultural stories about us, about you. So please stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cengiz.
bi kêf xweşî temaşe bikin.